Hey, you there. Thank you for watching and welcome to Forged Lines Forever. Today I have a 6v6 custom match on the map BLACKMOON Bay. Kind of similar to Sentence, but it is a 10 by 10 and has a lot more land mass to it. Let's go ahead and introduce our players, starting with Team 1 out here to the northeast section of the map, starting with the player of Saniafa going first. Air as a Seraphim in ruby red. To his north in, I think that's lightish red, pink, we have the player of Mountain Robot going first to Air as a UEF, and his partner up here on this upper plateau is Wind Runner as well as a UEF going first land as purple. It is the Amethyst purple. I always think of Abysmal whenever that comes up. Anyway, to his south, we have Tesla Max in royal purple going first land as a Seraphim. To the west in rust orange, we have the player of Naturally Aspirate going first Air as a, again, Seraphim in rust orange. And last but not least, for Team 1 up here to the north, we have Game of Drones. Must be a fan of Game of Thrones going first land as a UEF in orange, the color orange. To do racial disparities before we introduce Team 2. On Team 1 side of things, we have 3 UEF and 3 Seraphim, so no Cybrins, so no Telemazers, and no Aeon, so no Czar, and Galactic Colossus on that side of the map. Starting with the teal player of 2 pair. On Team 2 side of things, we have first Air, second Air as a Cybrin. To his northwest in Batman Gray, we have the player of Bowser Innator. Must be a fan of Phineas and Ferb and Mario. He is going, again, first land, second Air as a Cybrin as well. And his partner to the west of him, Once Handsome in Pac-Man Yellow, is going probably most likely first land, second, third Air as a UEF. Down here on this upper plateau to the southwest, we have the player of Weld going first land, second Air as the Crimson color, and again he is Aeon. To the west, we have Demote going first land, second Air in regular blue. I feel like I remember the name of that, the adjective for that color. Shoot, the name escapes me. Maybe it'll come back to me as the match goes on. But again, he is the sky blue, normal blue, going again first land, second Air, and he is a UEF. And last but not least, for Team 2 down here in the southeast section, already on the move, going for a naval factory. He is B Lover 3000 going first land, second Air, third Navy, and fourth Navy, and fifth Navy, and probably Navy all day of the Navy Boo player. And again, he is UEF. So Team 2 side of things, we have 3 UEF, an Aeon, and 2 Cybrins. So no Seraphim on this side of the map. So no YOLOs and no experimental bombers, the washes. We have some combat going down here in the middle of the map, this middle causeway. Once Handsome going for mass production here in the middle. There's a decent amount of mechs here as well. We have the comm of Tesla Max moving forward, assisting him. We have Naturally Aspirate moving up to secure this forward causeway. Again, mass on this map in terms of reclaim. There's a decent amount of it on these little peninsulas in the middle of these bays. We have some in the middle and some along the way to the middle, and a decent amount on these little small mountain sections, but not really a whole lot. There's again not really a whole lot of mixes as well. There's a couple in the water, there's a couple in this little whole section, I don't know if it's like a cove, I guess you'd call that a cove. Again, not really a lot of mixes, so gonna be seeing a lot of mass fabs, RASCOMs, all of the sort of generating eco sort of things in terms of those mobile SSUs and whatnot. We have Naturally Esprit putting a lot of pressure down on One Handsome. One Handsome just focusing on producing land factories to produce these Lobos. We have incoming Thams, and I wouldn't be surprised to see some Zooey in the background. Yeah, there's some Zooey as well. As for getting in behind One's Handsome, we have Bowser and Aether going off of this reclaim and focusing fire on the Calm of Naturally Esprit. One's Handsome focusing on the units. That's a very good move there. He's going to get some mass killed there, hopefully rep up his Calm. One of the factories does go down. There's a lot of air support here for the northern team. The southern team has some air support over here. There was a drop out here that hasn't actually officially dropped yet, and that is going to fail, unfortunately. He was able to get 2 of those mechs down, but that is about it. Would like to see maybe another comm from Team 2 or Team 1 help push this Center Causeway. All of those factories but one have died. One's Handsome is reclaiming the factories, as well as Naturally Esprit did that as well. One's Handsome has below 50% hit points. Naturally Esprit is almost below 50% hit points. We have Tesla Max just charging forward. One's Handsome using his Calm to shield his partner of Bowser and Aether. Built a forward mass extraction. Not really the best move there. It's going to die here pretty soon, most likely. All of those factories do go down, unfortunately, for Team 2. One's Handsome focusing down the gun speed and range upgrade for his Calm. I think there's pings out here from Team 1 saying you got to go after this. Engineers are dropped to the front line. They're going to get a radar installation online. Going to help know what's going on in the middle of the map. And these 2 comms back up. I think they know that the gun upgrade is on its way and is going to finish, unfortunately, on Team 1 side of things. So the upgrade does finish, heals up the hit points to 100%, and then it's going to charge forward. Wouldn't be surprised to see One Handsome go for his, I think it's a Zeph amp, a Zeph upgrade. We have a drop out here from the Rust Orange player of Naturally Esprit going for this reclaim, getting it all scooped up, denying it on Team 2 side of the map, and then it's going to build a forward factory and a couple of mechs. Naval play is starting to be a priority for a couple players in the game. Team 2's little Cliff player has 1 factory up online. Cliff, edge, I don't know, southeast corner of the map. I don't know what to call this position. There is a naval factory going down for the Ruby Red player of Santa Reef. I read that wrong. It is San Lifa. So I do apologize for mispronouncing that name early on. T2 Rocketbots appearing for the player of Bowser and Aether. Bowser and Aether being very aggressive with that Calm, being a little bit surrounded by these units, but that's not enough to kill him, especially with nearby units. Rocketbots going after the Calm of Naturally Esprit, dealing a decent amount of hit points damage to that Calm, about 150, almost close to 200. T2 has gone down for the Calm of Tesla Max. He went for a radar installation first and is now going for point to points. The Utashalas, that's what they're called. We have bombers over the top going after Naturally Esprit. That looks like that is going to be the Calm target here for Team 2 side of things. Rocketbots move into support. They go after intel installation. Very good there, blinding the eyes of Team 1. Bombers overhead taking out the point defense. And that Calm does die to Bowser and Aether. Bowser and Aether does fall into the red. Tesla Max goes for another point defense. That point defense is going to be able to allow him to kill Bowser and Aether as well. And that is a counter kill in for Team 1. So Team 2 got the first kill of the game. And that was a bad trade, just Naturally Esprit. Yeah, Bowser and Aether 1900. That was to all, by the way, so everybody knows that. And Naturally Esprit was 1300. That was Team 2's highest rated player, and that's definitely going to hurt. This game was a 91%. I mean, I know the numbers are rounded off, and they say they're exact. So, again, somewhat of an even match, but unfortunately for Team 2 side of things, now their highest rated players are 1100s. And, yeah, losing their highest rated player very early on, not really the best play there. And it is share until death, so all of his infrastructure goes up in smoke. Gonna scoop up that reclaim and funnel it back into other things. We have destroyers appearing here for the navy blue player of BLACKMOON. Oh, excuse me. We have these subs out here. They're going to be able to deal a lot of damage to that Valiant class, but the Valiants do have their own torpedo defense, and they'll be able to take out the rest of these T1 subs. We also have the Pac-Man yellow player of Once Handsome going for his own factory as well. This is more of like not a low-rated game. It was kind of more of like a medium kind of rated game. I wanted to give, we have a lot of high-rated games and stuff like that, like 1800s, 1700s. I wanted something not like super noob, like sub 800 for the entire match kind of thing, but not necessarily a like overwhelming. There are going to be a lot of mistakes. There's are going to be a lot, there'll be some good plays, that kind of thing. So definitely something to learn from in this match, because every match is a chance to learn. Every match is a chance to get better. We have T1 PD being spammed up on this little hillside over here, just kind of hanging out. You can see the angle that they have on that hill. It's the same range. It doesn't really matter, but PD creep is happening here in the middle of the map. Tesla Max is building these Utashalas. They are direct fire weapons, so a lot of their energy will not miss unless they are changing targets mid-firing. We have T3 air has been achieved for Team 2 side of things. As Team 1, I can see the spy plane overhead. Has Team 1 built it? Yes, they have T3 air. Both of them do. Well, almost both of them do. It's halfway on that upgrade to T3. And for generated eco, as right now, Team 1 is winning just barely. I'd say about 30 mass per second. And in terms of total mass accrued, they're about, I'd say, 15,000 more. There is a strap bomber built for the regular blue, the normal blue, the sky blue player of Demote. I swear I had one. I had an adjective for him, but I just can't remember it off the top of my head. Something about I might have only went T2 on the Navy. They just got destroyed. Yeah, unfortunately for him, all of his naval factories have gone down, and his main base is being destroyed. He's going for T2. Maybe he's going to get out some of those riptides, those floating units, to help push back this incoming fire. And I think there is a way down there. That there's a little bit of a hill. You should be able to climb that, though, I think, given it's like kind of a green color. There are torpedo bombers being launched to help take out this naval force, but unfortunately we should see some AFSFs here pretty soon. There is a cruiser in tow, so that will be nice little help to him in the water game. But both of the air players are going for mass torpedoes to help stave off incoming fire. Team 2's pretty much not mid-range, but middle causeway player of Tesla Max just holding down the fort, trying to build up the auxiliary mexes, takes out all of the nearby T1 PD, doesn't want to get caught out napping, that sort of thing. And on the eastern side, we have pretty much a almost naval lockout for the southern side. We have the ruby red player of San Lifa. We have some cruisers out here from him. We have a couple of destroyers as well. We have some of these Cerberus that are trying to do their best to stave off incoming fire. The direct fire weapons are having a little bit of a struggle because they don't arc, because they're direct fire, so it's a straight line. So that's something to watch out for. However, the anti-air cruisers are definitely being very effective, as well as the missiles from said cruisers. So I would like to see maybe a couple more zappers. Maybe he's building one more there. That should be enough to stave off one set of missiles, but if they're building more in the back line, which I think it's just one, like they're doing one destroyer, one cruiser, one destroyer, one cruiser. That will start to make a difference here shortly. But the Navy has fought off those incoming bombers and are starting to shell the bases and infrastructure out here on Team 1 side of things. You can see the arc on these rounds. They do miss sometimes, but they are able to go over the little hill, be able to target anything. Game of Thrones is underneath shield coverage, building another shield, has a clink hammer online. Very good use of tech there, ensuring he's trying to push back these destroyers away from his coastline or cliff line, whatever the heck it's called. T3 going down here the comm of a Mountain Robot, trying to get some hit point survivability on that comm. We have the comms down here from Once Handsome and Weld, just scooping up the rest of what remains from Bowser and Natur's main base. Definitely sad to see the highest rated player in the game by a large margin, by the way. He was up 600 points on anybody else on Team 1 side of things. Team 1 did have the lowest rated player as well, or not as well, but they have the lowest rated player. So, I mean, I kind of like it where the highest and lowest are on the same team, and it helps balance out the difference. But I guess the significant difference of a 1900 and a 600, it does, that is a huge gap. So maybe they wanted more of like an average versus the extremes kind of on Team 2 side of things. And I don't know why the scoreboard picks picks purple as the color. Like every time I play a ranked, I cast a ranked game, it's always purple and yellow. And I never understand why. That you would think it would be blue and red would be the first two colors, but apparently not. And I don't know why. We have an incursion out here against the main base of, I think that's Once Handsome, but Weld is on the defense. We have bombers overhead trying to sway them from not moving any farther. These Ilshis T2 mobile point defenses, as they're called sometimes. And we have a nice couple of overcharges going into the chassis of them. Constantly firing those are able to zap the hit points on them and deal with that pretty quickly. In terms of map control, Team 1 probably has a little bit more map control. I'd say just barely though, probably about 55% to 45%. The middle is definitely giving them a decent amount of that percentage, of course. You know, Team 2 has the western lake, I guess is what you would call that, pond, and then Team 1 has the southeastern pond. Like I was mentioning, you can kind of see the similarity of settings. You have 2 ponds, you have a middle causeway, but it is a 10 by 10, and there's a lot more mass in terms of like land mass to like walk around and whatnot. And so you have this little, you know, peninsula that you can actually probably get tac missiles, and maybe clean cameras and other T2 artillery could be set up here and just start lobbing against pretty much anything in the water. So definitely a good defensible position here, especially with the natural cliff side providing some protection. We have we have a Autumn appearing on Ruby Red side of things. He has went for T3 land. So maybe he'll put that in the water and kind of walk it onto the main infrastructure out here for Tupar. Tupar has built the torpedo launcher and is going to start using that comm aggressively. Going to take out that first cruiser and go after the other 2 as well. We'd like to see some sub-hunters out here from the red player of San Lifa just to kind of counter that. He doesn't put out a lot of firepower, but it is enough to start whittle down that enemy holes from the cruisers. Weld has built an experimental. What has he built? I was going to say he is Aeon, so he's built the Colossus, the towering behemoth of the game. And I was, throughout the day yesterday, I was just like looking at the stats of yesterday's video. And two videos ago. So Friday's video. And I noticed I spelled Colossus wrong. I put 2 L's instead of, I put 2 L's instead of 2 O's. And I realized, oh, I spelled that wrong. Whoops. And I was like, oh, I'll leave it there. It's fine. I think it's kind of funny. I make mistakes as well, and sometimes I don't notice those, like, oh, I spelled Colossus wrong. And I probably should have watched that, but I didn't. So, again, for those who were like, you spelled that, the word Colossus wrong, I do apologize. And I just think it's funny. It's a funny mistake, and hope that anybody got a kick out of that after they looked at the thumbnail for that video. 2 Autumns make land on this southeastern corner. Like I mentioned earlier, they went into the water, went around, and then came up on land. The comm out here from Tupar has gone down to Mountain Robot. Looks like he went after some bombers. There were a couple subs in there as well, but I did warn earlier that that could easily be thwarted and kind of pushed off. And now all that infrastructure goes down. This now goes from a 5v5 to a 5v4 in favor of Team 1 side of things. We have the navy blue player of B Lover, excuse me. just constantly throwing missiles at the main base of Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones kind of go back into the neighbor game. He is spotted, and those missiles are going to start whittling down that hit point on that chassis, almost dropping him down. Oh, it does drop him down into the yellow. That's going to force him out, and that definitely is going to hurt. You can see the they do have vision on him, so they're able to target him. You can see the ring of effect that these units have. They're able to target pretty much anything up to this solid yellow line on the very edge. So that is just it's a lot of capabilities on those cruisers. What else do we got going on? We got a gunship squadron moving out. We have these broadswords. They're going to probably be used against the advancing Colossus of Weld. Weld doesn't have any nearby units. He has some ASF in tow, but they're going to be caught out, and I don't think they're going to actually be able to kill the rest of these broadswords, unfortunately, because the ASF forces out from the Amethyst player. See, I think of Abysmal for some reason, of Wind Runner. And unfortunately, there's no support on the ground. There are a couple of these mobile anti-air flak. Good to see those being deployed. Very effective against taking out the gunships. We'd like to see T3 because he is, he's at T4. He's at the experimental stage. Unfortunately, he's just kind of hanging out over here, just kind of walking back and forth, not really doing a whole lot. There are also, it looks like, counter gunships. There were counter gunships as well. Gunships attacking gunships. Don't really see that a lot, just because it's more effective to use ASF. They're, faster, more mobile and whatnot. A chicken is under construction. It's hurriedly being, brought in, gated in, grown, however the heck Seraphim Tech works. Because it starts very small and it just grows. I feel like it just grows. But the Colossus is on its way. The experimental chicken does get built. Utoshalas, the T2 point defense, are the name of the game. The beam opens up, and it looks like the chicken is going to win this just due to the fact that the Colossus has suffered a decent amount of hit points. And unfortunately for Team 2, this is not going to amount to a win. You can see the cannon just open up and constantly fire against the Colossus, and it just gets eaten and taken out. There's no ion storm to worry about, and that's pretty much just a mass dump on Team 1's doorstep. We have three comms up here to the north. Now we have the Tesla Max Blair. He is going for T3 shield going on Mountain Robots comm. The rest of these anti-air forces are trying to retreat, but not really going to amount to a whole lot here in the middle. It did a lot of clearing. Unfortunately, a lot of these players on Team 1 side of things, I mean, some of them might know, but a lot of them, they don't follow their units with engineers to help scoop up mass and the like, or build, these mechs and whatnot. So definitely something that everyone should watch out for is as you're taking ground, you want to keep the ground that you take, and so bringing engineers with you, or at least hanging them back a little bit, allows you to do that. There are some gunships being built here for the Dimwat, the blue player, the regular blue, the normal blue, the sky blue, whatever the heck I'm going to end up calling it. Because I swear I had one for that. For some reason my brain just cannot remember. But more firepower is being thrown at this main base out here from Game of Thrones. There is a battleship in tow as well. So direct fire, not direct fire, but projectile weapons that can't be shot down very easily, of course. There's, tons of these buzzkills trying to be a buzzkill, take out all these missiles against Team 2 side of things. But just the firepower coming off that battleship is a lot, and the shields are starting to fall. Unfortunately for Game of Thrones, it's pretty much just plugging the holes in the sinking ship, trying to last as long as you can. I would like to see torpedo bombers being used on this eastern side. I just see Zeus, or sorry, these are Scorchers, not Zeus, out here from Team 2 side of things, because they're more effective. Even if you lose all of the torpedo in the pass to take out, at least you'll take out maybe a cruiser or two, and then you can do another pass and take more of them out, and eventually you take all of them out. Gunships being deployed. There is an anti-air flak cannon on that chassis for that chicken. It's not super effective, but it does something. You can see the shots being fired against these gunships. We have the chicken. Can you walk? I guess you can walk in that little chasm, but you can't walk up it. So he's going to walk the edge. Very not good movement there. You can see he's trying to, I guess, he's not microing it as best as he could. He could have walked it directly against the Colossus. There's another Colossus that has appeared, now that I mention it. And now this is going to be a rematch. This chicken is going to die. There's a bunch of PD built. There's a bunch of defenses, bombers, and gunships, and everything flying around. We see some restorers out here as well. That could be dangerous if World Prioritize is restore production. Over here to the north, looks like Game of Thrones kind of has a handle on things. A lot of those missiles are not impacting now. He's pretty much shield creeping onto the edge of his main landmass. More chicken, says naturally Aspirid. Hopefully I'm saying his name. Aspirid? Maybe it's Aspirid. I don't know. Anyway, hopefully I'm saying his name right. I'll just say naturally. That'll be a better way to say it. We have San Lifa going for, looks like, production for transports. Maybe he's going to start hoovering his units onto the middle of the map. A lot of engineers do appear, starting to scoop up all of that mass. See, Team 1 at least is doing that whole, I'm just going to push with a lot of engineers. And now we have engineers on both teams just kind of, oh, sorry about that. The mountains make it very hard to kind of pan around. But just engineers kind of rolling around, and you see that Colossus in the distance being like, guys, what's going on? And all these are engineers, and just are being vacuumed up by that Colossus. Again, no supporting units on the ground. There are some air units, but no on the ground. You know, no shields, no tanks, no nothing, no harbs. Wouldn't like to see. You can't just walk experimentals in unless you have just all of them, just like a bunch of them. So would like to see some support out from Weld on that ground, or at least from somebody else on Team 2 side of things. We are at the 26-minute mark. Let me know down in the comments who do you think is going to win at the current time. Remember, it is a 5v4 in favor of Team 1. And again, the highest rated player in the game has been knocked out for both teams. There is another 1,300. But again, just to everybody know. Just again, let me know down in the comments if you like the cast so far. Of course, please like it as well. I definitely appreciate it. And lets me and everyone on YouTube know that this is a video that is good to watch and everyone should watch it, and all of the good little metrics for the YouTube algorithm. And that Colossus makes another appearance, and now there's even more defenses built, and there's another chicken that's just ticked over the 50% mark, and unfortunately just this isn't going to go well. And there's even more broadswords here, and this is not going to go well. And the hit points on that Colossus just evaporate, constantly being thrown at that chassis, and that chassis can only withstand so much punishment. ASF's moving to help support, and there is probably going to be an air fight. No, kind of, maybe. Maybe not. There are shield now. Bulwark shields appearing out here from the yellow player of Once Handsome. 3 battleships now being devoted. There is so much mass being devoted just to this one base. Once Handsome is pretty much like, I'll take 2 players' attention right now, and everyone else on my team can focus on this eastern side. We have landings out here from Mountain Robot using that comm very aggressively. Trying to build these SAM sites. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to go very well. The gunships are taken out. More gunships do appear. There is a Colossus nearby, and hopefully that Colossus is, it is walking to where that comm is going to go. SAMs are being built, very far forward. I don't really see that being that super effective. If he goes down, then his air grid and everything in the back goes down as well. Definitely not something that you should risk 28 minutes in, especially as the air player. But he's not going to be able to stay here for long. I mean, this is Team 2 side of the map. All of the infrastructure here, the comms are here. They're easily deployed. We have the comm out here from Once Handsome on a Continental being, hoovered up and moved to the back of the map. That laser from that Colossus opens up. That switches targets, fires on the 2 SAMs, and then retasks onto the comm of Robot. Robot just eating a lot of fire from the sky. Colossus lose sight of him for a second because that little hill, and it's kind of hard to see the even in the fire it's hard to see, but it's hard to aim for that comm. The Colossus is just walking him down, and that Mountain Robot is just going to walk into that Colossus and just try to take as many hit points out as he can. And that is going to be a kill on Team 2's side of things, bringing us back to a 4v4 in this game. And all that infrastructure in the back line goes pop, explodes, control Ks itself, whatever the case may be. We should... There it goes. I was going to say we should see that here pretty soon. That's just going to be more mass and more area for the other air player, Windrunner, to just expand into... Oh, that was our guy? Oh, never mind. What did he say? And Windrunner says nice to his allies and goes, oh, that was the wrong person. But just 3 battleships. They're still not able to penetrate this multi-layered shield coverage and bunch of anti-missiles. There are shields starting to go down. So maybe this might position, this egg might start breaking. We have the comm is now left and has walked all the way back to the main base that was once Mountain Robot. Mountain Robot was the lowest rated player on Team 1 side of things and the lowest rated player in the game. So again, definitely a mistake to bring your comm. Bringing your comm over here wasn't that bad, but walking it all the way over here was very, very aggressive, especially with the whole, Team 2 building experimentals thing. Had he had a transport nearby, had he had more air coverage, it probably would have been a better play, but just didn't communicate with his team to be able to effectively use that aggressive play. There is a chicken, that's actually 2 chickens, excuse me. This one surrounded by shield coverage, and the other one is not. There is a Colossus on its way. Unfortunately, 2v1 with shields. It's not really going to work out for that Colossus, unfortunately for him. These T1 Striker tanks trying to push forward, trying to distract the other chickens. Is fire. The hit points on the first chicken do fall pretty rapidly, but the second chicken now opens up, and it's now a 2v1. PD constantly going into that first chicken's chassis. The Colossus still alive, trying to survive as long as it can. The first chicken gets very close in, tries to take out that Colossus with its Ion Storm. The second chicken gets the final blow. Oh, it was close. I think the Ion Storm got that Colossus, and now that other chicken walks away unscathed. There's another Colossus here. Team 2 needs to get the reclaim up and running. There's a lot of reclaim here. 14,000, or sorry, 15,000, 13,000. Whole bunch of reclaim here. Where is that Continental going? It's going to use its guns to open up on that chicken. It's not very powerful, but it can do something. It's, something's better than nothing kind of thing. But the second Colossus opens up against that second chicken. The second chicken should have run away by now, but it's just going to walk in, deal as much damage with that Iron Storm as it can. Shields pop up here in the middle, and that chicken does fall. The Continental will get annihilated from those ASF, and that, if Team 2 can get it, it's definitely a fair trade. 1 Colossus for 2 chickens. See the mass, 15,000 mass for, I'd say 25,000 mass, so definitely, 10,000 mass gain, I guess is what you would call that. But you can still reclaim the mass from the Colossus as well. So it's actually a very good trade, to be fair. If they get the mass, that's the case. In the back line, we have SMD being built for Demote. Would have liked to see that kind of in the middle to help cover multiple bases out here on Team 2 side of things. SMD being built is good, just should have had better coverage on it. We do have a separate SMD over here to the northwest, out here from B Lover, so he has his own SMD. That's a good placement. That's a good position, just due to the fact that in terms of angles of attack, it's kind of hard to cover himself with the central SMD by him over there to the west. Do we have anything similar? We have multiple SMD being built here, and these are farther forward in terms of placement versus Demote's. Demos? It's probably French, Demos. And they can cover the whole back side. You can even see the range. I think these are Tesla Mechs. He has 3 of them. Covers pretty much the entire northeastern corner. Pretty much any nuke, unless you just edge it out. So you had to build a nuke launcher right here and just edge it out. That's not really viable. So we have the comm out here from San Lifa pushing forward with his chicken. Probably shouldn't do that, considering it's going to run into a Colossus. Sorry, 2 Colossi. Excuse me. But we have lots of air coverage over here for Team 1. I would like to see more cruisers to help whittle that down. They are like pretty much flying into the path or range of Governor class cruisers, so would have liked to see that placement. Maybe even move these cruisers over there would be probably a better use. But that base out here from Game of Drones is starting to fall. Shields are trying to be rebuilt, but the incoming firepower from now 4 battleships is just too great. We have another fight in the middle, 2 Colossi versus a chicken. Shields just get sucked up by these vacuum hands out here from these Colossi. The chicken is just trying to rush in, walk straight up next to that the first Colossus. It goes down. The Iron Storm will kill that first Colossus. The Colossus will go down to combined fire out here from Team 1. We have 2 more chickens. The second Colossus, a 2v1, is not a good situation, especially with the incoming fire from that Ion Storm. Just the hit points just get annihilated on that chassis. Look at it, just constantly get wrecked. For some reason, the Ion Storms do not like Colossus for some reason. They just absolutely hate them. A lot of that mass, I think, has been finally scooped up for Team 2. Unfortunately, now there's even a bigger mass field in the middle of the map. We have the Calm of Sandleaf holding position. I think he has an Origin. Yeah, I think that's his aura regen, so he's able to regen nearby units. And so that's definitely a good use of his comm. It is fairly far forward. There is air coverage nearby. So they do notice that comm, and they're starting to rain Janus fire down on his position. A lot of it does impact on that shield. It pretty much becomes void. There's another Colossus in tow. He's probably going straight for that comm. That comm is pushing forward. If that Colossus can get to that comm before it dies. Oh, and then you need to get closer. Yeah, you have pings going down on Team 2 side of things, going like, the comm is right there. Go for him. The Colossus is under shield coverage. That's definitely a misplay there. The comm is there. You could kill the chicken with the death of the comm. It's so disheartening. And the comm is still there. He's just taunting that Colossus. We have Harbs inbound as well. The Harbs need to target that the chassis, the ACU. The ACU being protected by that chicken. Some hit points are starting to be whittled down, but there's not enough Harbs, not enough incoming PD fire. There is a Fat Boy intel. That Fat Boy needs to target that comm. You can take out the chicken, you can take out ASF, you can take out that whole eastern side for Team 1's main base. There's even another chicken intel. And so, yeah, it's definitely disheartening. A squadron of broadswords come over the top. They go after the Fat Boy. Very good play there, taking out that artillery fire. The Calm of Sandleaf is still being very ballsy, very aggressive here. And the Fat Boy will go down to all of this The Fat Boy will go down to the broadsword fire. ASF's tussle over the top. Not really some good turns here. The ASF focusing on the gunships. It's not really going well for Team 2's air, and that's gonna hurt. Ooh. A lot of those ASF will die. Even more ASF come in from Team 1. And Team 1 just, as of right now, 36 minutes. And like we saw in yesterday's video, things can change on a dime. But Team 1 kind of has the lead in terms of, air. They have the air control for sure. They have a lot of mass in the middle. There is a laser over the top, a satellite, and it's being used to fire on that comm. Comm is repping up 258 hit points a second, so it's going to need a couple more laser fire to deal significant damage to that comm. That is out from the navy blue player of Bean Lover. Sorry, I had to cough there. There is a Novak Center being built as well, so a couple of them. There is another Fat Boy as well. Chickens are on the approach. They have secured the middle of the map for Team 1. The Sandleaf player now retreating. You can see the engineers following behind, scooping up all of this mass. And you can now see the mass totals here for Team 1 and Team 2. Team 1 leading by 250,000 mass. And Team 2 is actually generating more eco, but just due to the reclaim, you can see the reclaim on Team 1 side of things. 239,000 reclaim versus 92,000. So pretty much the reclaim alone is giving them a huge advantage. And that is the power of reclaim in this game. Just you gotta have it, especially with throwing experimentals at one another. You just gotta have it. This Colossus, if it's able, no, there's too much shield coverage. There's too much chickens inbound. I think there's another chicken that's inbound as well. There is an oil washer being built by Tesla Max. Is there another chicken? There's pigeons going up. There's another chicken being built for Sanlifa. He has another chicken inbound. So lots of things that could be destroyed if that comm does go down. Well, not for the oil washer, but the stuff from Sanlifa. Is that the Saint of Leafs? Maybe that's Spanish. I don't know what that is. Anyway, there is a Duke under construction in the southwest portion of the map. Demote is having power issues, but he's going for a artillery installation. Just Colossus are the name of the game here for Weld. He's going Colossus, Mass Colossus, and would like to see him. These are actually on pause, so he's focusing on this construction first and then switching over to this one. And go build another one after that. Just these cruisers in the bay now, just shelling the position out here from Team 2. There are these volcanoes. They are very effective at diverting multiple missiles at a time with their little flare ball thingamajigs. Very effective there, but unfortunately not anything can hold out for forever. There's a TAC missile battery being built here for Game of Drones. And this southeastern portion of the map, which should be in Team 2 side of in hands, is in Team 1 side of things. That's giving them, roughly 50% map control down the vertical column. I hear the oil washer. Where is it? I heard the bomb go off. Where is it? It went after the Navy out here to the northwest. Lots of anti-air coverage. There's a decent amount of anti-air coming off of that group of units. There's a couple SAMs. There's a couple of cruisers in tow. The first bomb is released and takes out that entire section of Navy. Again, the cruisers would be the name of the game here. Would have liked to see those being used very heavily by Once Handsome. The chicken is being followed by another chicken, which is being followed by another chicken, which is being followed by the comm of Sanlifa. So very aggressive play here on the middle of the map. There are two Colossus in defense. First chicken's going to walk up, and that Iron Storm's going to annihilate those hit points on that Experimental's chassis. The second chicken is able to open up. The defense laser actually being used, defense satellite being used for defense. Usually it's used for offense. But that battery of Oblivion PD turrets have been annihilated by that Ion Storm. I shouldn't have walked. It's a trap. You don't... it hurts. It's just all that unnecessary fire raining down. The second chicken goes down, and that's the downside with pushing against retreating chickens, is you constantly run into more and more Ion Storms. That one goes down. That one is still alive. That one lasted a long time. Yeah, for some reason they just don't like Colossi, and I don't know why. It's just, I don't know if it's like a coding thing. I don't know, but there's a comm. Game of Drones makes comment. There's a comm there. I guess there's a TAC missile snipe on the cards. Yep, over here. So that's going to be very devastating. The oil washer comes over the top, drops its first bomb on that Colossus. The Colossus is still alive, sub 500 hit points, not dead. The ASF try to target the experimental bomber, but there's just too much ASF coverage. Doesn't really amount to a whole lot. The next bomb goes off, drops onto a bunch of engineers. They were just civilians. They didn't know what they were getting themselves into. SAMs open up, deal a decent chunk of hit point damage. The chicken trying to do some fire against incoming units. But there is another Colossus intel. There's two all washers for team 1. Oh, this is going to hurt. Oh, both of them don't drop a bomb. That core mass out here that was once Bowser and Aether does get destroyed. That all washer is almost destroyed. Drops its bomb, tries to, but misses because it impacts on that mountainside. Another bomb gets dropped onto the main production facility out here for Once Handsome. Keeps the headquarters, but loses everything else. There's like no SAM coverage over here. I'm waiting for these missiles to be launched. Oh, and as I speak, the missiles are launched. They are going after... What are they going after? Oh, they're just going after one mass extractor. You don't need all of those missiles for a mass extractor. Let's see, do these volcanoes open up? They do, and most of those missiles get diverted. There's still a couple more on its way, and I guess they get diverted by more volcanoes. So the very sporadic placement of those volcanoes help divert that entire missile launch. drop bombers being used to take out the Duke. The quantum gateway goes down, unfortunately, for Demo. Another bomb gets launched, takes out that core mass anyways, and it's going to get killed off here pretty quickly. The SAMs open up. The Awasher is able to fly and land in the water pretty much, and that will be a nice little reclaim pile for Team 1 to scoop up. They even have engineers in tow to help deal with that. All that for a drop of blood, says Demo. Yep, oh wow, the Duke does go down, and unfortunately Team 2 is just on the, just not really, not on the backslide. What is it called? On the back foot, that's the word I'm looking for. They're just not really doing as much as they should. There's no SAM coverage. There's no shield. There's hardly any shield coverage. There's shield coverage back here and over here, but not in the middle for one's handsome. We have 4 Colossi in the middle, but the calm of San Lifa is still alive, surprisingly. We are seeing cruisers being built on this western mountainside, so that'll help deal with some of the ASFs that kind of roam around. There is counter artillery being fired now out here from the purple player of Windrunner. We're seeing the satellite being used as well. Yeah, go after the pigeons. They're very explosive, very volatile. They can do chain reactions. Very good move there. We have B-Lover still going for that Novak Center. He has a Fat Boy right here, and he should devote more of that reclaim. What does he have in the mass bar? He has a decent amount. He only has 5,000. Could devote more of his build power to this. But it's, and have more of these Novaxes online. That help expedite the destruction of San Lifa's base. Artie says Bowserinator. Yep, the Artie has been spotted. But you can just see, even due to the fact that you've lost a player over here, the other air player was able to just severely capitalize, build a bunch of mass, just devote it to one thing. They haven't, their main base hasn't really been attacked that much, and so more and more infrastructure is still online and still functioning. Now they've lost this northwestern side, but it's not really a huge issue for them because they have the map control. They own now more than 50% of the map. They have a bunch of these cruisers in the bay dealing with anti-air, so pretty much locking out air for Team 2 on this eastern side. Team 1 should have done this on the western side earlier on, but unfortunately they just didn't do it early enough. There are starting to be some battleships starting to pepper these mass extractors. It's not going to be a whole lot. There's another Awash has been built. Another one is almost completed. Actually, that one's the one that is almost destroyed. They should have control K'd this one, took the mass from it, and then funnel it into the new one. But I don't know if that's a higher level play, but it's easier because instead of spending the mass to rep the hit points, because they're spending 17 mass per second, they could just get the rest of the mass off this and then funnel it into the new one and build it even faster. But another push out here in the center causeway. We have chickens and fat boys and colossi, and there's a comm in there somewhere back there, and just more and more incoming fire. The chickens are going to stand up to these colossus. The first colossus goes down. There's a bunch of shields in tow as well. There's satellites being rained down from the heavens. We have that colossus trying to go for that chicken. That chicken over there does fall down. There are 2 more colossi in tow. There's just, the shield coverage is immense over here. And it's just starting to make itself apparent. All of the 4 chickens are able to focus fire on one target, destroying the hit points on that chassis for the colossus. This one was almost dead. It's dead now. This one is, above 25%, just gets low, just below that. This is not looking good for Team 2's side of things. Team 2 just, again, not doing enough for their fences, not doing enough. They can have a bunch of SAMs built up, which they do, but they don't have anything on the ground. So they focus on one avenue of attack, but not the rest of them. There are missiles being launched at the Colossus. Oh, is that from over here? Oh, it's from over here, I guess. They figured they can't target this. They have some... I do like this play out from Game of Drones. He is building these just Lobos just to distract, suck up some of that APM out here for Team 2 side of things. But 4 chickens make their way on approach. There are some ASF inbound as guarding a bunch of strap bombers. They're going for the comm of one handsome. One Hansom's got to move. One Hansom notices the threat. All those bombs land. They impact on the first shield. Second shield falls. One Hansom's got to keep going. There's a bunch of SAM coverage. Some of the bombers are able to turn around, but unfortunately that's just not enough for Team 1 to get another kill. A bunch of Ravagers open up onto that first chicken. They just annihilate those hit points on that chicken. And see, there's coverage over here, but there's not coverage over here, and I would have liked to see more coverage. The two chickens are targeting the comm of Weld. Weld is now retreating. At least that's what I would target. They are going into the main base. It looks like right on top of the Colossus production site. There's a nuke launcher that has been constructed and is being prepped for a nuke as we speak. So close, says Wild Runner to Handsome. Yeah, that was really close. I think one more bomber would have killed him. Bean Lover 3000 builds an experimental. Probably another Novax. He has 2 more now. He has 3 now. The second chicken goes down. There's the third chicken. Just opens up onto those Ravagers. Just annihilating those weapon emplacements. Because they're so grouped up together, Rascom's going to eat a lot of fire. That's got to hurt. And there's just not enough defenses on the ground now. This huge push out here from Team 1 is just able to whittle down all those forces. And Handsome does die. Unfortunately, the chicken falls just before that. Apologies just for missing that for a brief second. Once Handsome does fall, the Ion Storm takes out the rest. And oof, says Demo, yeah. Had Handsome kept walking back, he would have survived. Washer over the top, going for the main base, it looks like, of the air player for Demo. Demo survives. That bomber was able to release its payload and impacts onto the shields and falls. And that is going to be a lot of mass for the Bee Lover to scoop up. Bombs being dropped onto these chicken haphazardly. And it looks like, unfortunately for Team 2, the Weld went for a land play when he should have went for air play. You can notice earlier on that these two players up here to the north for Team 1 went for air, and that severely made a difference in the air game. Even though they lost one of the air players, the other one was able to capitalize on that loss and produce even more ASF and fighters and whatnot. But now there are no defenses for these missiles to be diverted. And they are going after... What are they going after? Going after the mass. They're actually deleting the mass. So, like, you'll watch. I'll show you. So this is, 13,666. With the impact of these missiles, it falls to, a little under 10,000. But you can damage the mass on the ground and will actually diminish the amount of mass that your opponent can get. So even if you can't get the mass yourself, if you can deny mass, that's almost as good. It's not as good because you want the mass, of course, but it's better than having your opponent get it. Total mass accrued now, almost 3 million out here for Team 1. It's almost a little over 600,000 mass differential, and in terms of generated eco, 1.7 to 700, so a 2-to-1 ratio, even more than that for Team 1. And Team 1 is just looks like it's going to be name of the game. I don't know what that was about. Was that a... Well, it wasn't a nuke, because we didn't hear the comment on it. Oh, there's just the Washer taking out mechs is up there. I was very confused. That artillery still raining down. It's not really going to penetrate the shields. There's too much shield coverage. And even if he takes out a couple shields, it's not really going to matter a whole lot. 51 minutes in the game. Was your prediction right? Was it wrong? Do you like anything that's happened so far? Please let me know down in the comments. More missiles are being launched, trying to target the Colossus, but unfortunately the Colossus keeps moving all those missiles off of those cruisers. And I like the fact that this thing is just constantly producing cruisers, just constantly putting more and more pressure down on this eastern side. I do like that play out here from Sanlifa. And this play with his comm is very ballsy. It's very aggressive, but he's able to do it because he has support from his teammates and, a lot of shield coverage and chickens. So Team 2 had an opportunity had they focused fire on that comm, but they didn't use it effectively. Weapons replacements go down. Rascom goes down. Takes some hit points off of that Colossus. And unfortunately for Team 2, it looks like it's the beginning. If you fed mass, you can take out all of this, all with the sats. Yeah. Unfortunately, there's just not a lot of focus on that. Washer just haphazardly throwing bombs out of his chutes all the time. B Lover just getting more and more of these satellites online, going for a fourth one as well. I mean, he does have a decent number of them. And we have 2 all washers just annihilating these Colossus, softening them up for the inbound chickens. Splitting up your Colossus, even if it's super weak, not really the best play there. Out here from Weld. Weld, I don't know. He's not even targeting the chickens. I don't know where he's going with them. I know it's a losing game at this point. But just look at this. Look at all the hit points just being annihilated by those all washers. There's no air response to this, unfortunately. And the air response out here from Demo is just not enough. Demo went for some air, but he went for artillery. I think he went for artillery too soon. There is a thing where, yeah, the air player, doesn't really have to worry about a whole lot. But he did build enough ASF to take out one and both of the odd washes. So, that's a good play there. But it's not going to last very long. They're losing more and more map control and mass and all of that. ACU stats target her. Says one's handsome. Well, I guess that's a her, excuse me, not a he. I do apologize. Did not know. Tesla Max is a her. The satellites move into the position. Will they get the comm of Tesla Max? That would help in the air game severely. Rascom's going down to artillery fire. There are now 2 artillery installations online. Targeting the Seraphim shields. These are heavy shields, so they will take a bit to be diminished. They are the stronger shields in the game. ACU being targeted by one's handsome, says target the comm. But chickens approach the front line for Weld. Weld has a Colossus in tow. This first chicken is going to die to Fat Boy Fire, but it's going to get as close as it can. Oh, it gets a Rankin Vet. It's still alive. Target the chicken that's going to die. Okay, retargets. Fortunately, it's too close. Another All-Washer comes over the top, takes out a lot of the infrastructure surrounding Weld. The shields go down around Weld. The chicken targets Weld. That's going to be a kill for Team 1 once again, dropping this game to a 4v2. The final chicken does go down. I love that combination play. The All-Washer took out the shields. The chicken came for the kill. It's now just Demo and B-Lover. That All-Washer dies off screen or off the map, so that mass cannot be scooped up. Demo goes for a continental play, trying to scoop up his comm and move it. Crazy match, says one's handsome. Yeah, I'd say it was a pretty good match if Team 2 had done a little bit more aggressive play and a little more locking out Team 1 out of certain areas of the map. But all in all, I think it wasn't a bad match at all. But definitely, and that just goes to the fact that, these players aren't as skilled as, let's say, some pros. Excuse me. Wow, I don't know why I'm coughing so much. But B-Lover, Bowser-Nator dying very early on was definitely a blow to Team 2. The comm out here from, let's say, Demo gets killed. He says Control K. He could have been on that transport. I don't know. I do apologize for missing. I was talking about other stuff in the match. And now it's a 4v1 in favor of Team 1. And artillery rains down around B-Lover. Well played, B-Lover. Nearly killed me. Are you a B? Says Bowser-Nator. GG. I mean, I did. Yeah, almost. And just the strap bombers come in. Sam's open up. B-Lover's just going to tank the incoming fire. And kaboom. And that is a win for Team 1. All GGs go down in the chat. Thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Again, if you liked the video, please, hit that thumbs up button. If you didn't, of course, you can always hit the thumbs down button. Again, comment down below what your favorite moment was. Were you right on your guess? Were you wrong? And again, if you haven't participated in the poll, by the time this video is released, you'll probably have about 10 to 12 hours or so. So have your voices heard. Please go to that poll on my community post section of the channel and vote for your game to be used for the milestone celebration. And again, thank you so much for helping me reach 350 subscribers. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. And again, if you made it to the end of the video and you haven't subscribed, I would greatly appreciate that red subscribe button being clicked. I make a video for Fortune Lines Forever every single day, so if you've been enjoying the content, you can go back, go see the playlist, and look forward to even more content. And again, thank you so much, everyone, for watching, and I will see everyone in the next video.